But they began to feel important. They began to sense that they were becoming something. And in the midst of that, there was this temptation of, well, who's really better? Who does Jesus like the most? Who's the one he leans into more? Who really does more around here? You know what I mean? And so they begin to have this conversation. And of course, Jesus, he knows what they're talking about. I mean, it's like parenting, right? Your kids think they're getting away with stuff, and you don't know what they're doing, but you know what they're doing. But Jesus knows. They get finally to Capernaum. They get to the house where they're staying. And Jesus is like, hey, what are you guys talking about back there? Fully knowing what they were talking about. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, goodness. He knows. And they don't say anything because they were called out. But I think what Jesus does is very interesting. He doesn't rebuke them for having that conversation. He doesn't get angry at them and say, well, you guys shouldn't be thinking that way and this kind of thing. You know what he does? He redirects them. He knows they were talking about who's the greatest. And instead of saying, you're wrong, you shouldn't have that conversation, he looks at them and he says, let me help define for you what greatness looks like. And maybe you can go back and have that conversation then. But he basically turns it around and he says, this is what greatness looks like in God's kingdom. It's the person who serves the most. It's the person who becomes the slave of others. It's the person who becomes the servant of others. It's the one who takes on that lowly position and helps others and pours into others. So he redirects them, and now they have a different definition of what greatness looks like, don't they? And so there's a transformation of thinking. We need to have that same thing in mind.